difficult in application is you combine this with this edge thing that we started with. Right, so we see in international wrestling, we see guys, they get into, so I wish I had a diagram, I should have created one. With the national team in training camps, and when I say national team, I mean everybody competing on the senior level. Anybody that comes to camp, I consider a national team member because they're all important. So when this is like information that we're trying to get out to as many people as possible because it's that important. So you have the 1 meter circle, you have the 1 meter zone, and then you have this real estate that's in between. Okay? And you know, the first meter or whatever, you know, little ways, that's still kind of the center. And then you have this like other area, right? You have the area that's like maybe a foot or 2 foot from the zone, and that's like almost the zone. And then you have this other, you got this 1 meter, meter and a half, whatever, 4 or 5 feet. I call that transition. What do we do in transition areas? Right? Well, sometimes it's too safe. I can dance, I'm not in the zone, I'm not threatened to the zone, and I'm not in the center, but I'll do my thing. We gotta use this space. We gotta use this space. And what's happening now, because of the rules, that, you know, there's not really a terminology in the rule book called grounded. Right? But we all use it colloquially, right? It's like grounded. He hit his knees, you're putting pressure on me, I hit my knees, he pushed me out of bounds. Okay? How do we wrestle that? Man, I hate that. I hate it. I mean, this is a game, right? It's a game. Let's play it. Let's play it well. Let's play it fun. One of my coaches, Phil Vaughn, great coach, maybe the best motivator of young men that I've ever been around. Passed away some years ago. He would tell this story at every camp. He lived in Hawaii. He'd fly to the mainland and stay with us all summer. So he'd come in the spring after the high school state tournament, and he'd coach all the way through, back in those days, Joliet. Anybody in here know Joliet? That was before Cedar Falls, which was before Fargo. Same event. Joliet actually was an international. Anyways, he'd say, what kind of wrestler do you want to be? What kind of wrestler do you want to be, Zadok? Reese, what kind of wrestler do you want to be? You want to be a hot dog wrestler? Or do you want to be a Peter Pants wrestler? There's 2 kinds. I'm trying to think, well, I don't want to pee my pants for sure. But you pick it and say, Zadok, are you the kind of wrestler that when you come up, everybody looks around and says, oh, Zadok except with squeeze a hot dog? Or are you the kind of wrestler that when you come up, it's like, I'm going to wet my pants, but I'm not going to miss this match because something's going to happen, right? And so how that applies is we've got to use this space over here. I can't sit there and let this guy hit his knees and lollygag out 30 seconds before the ref brings us up. But there's some dangers, right? If he grounds himself, he goes to his knees right on the edge, you know, we're going to yell, go behind, go behind, run, 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 run. Well, that's dangerous. If I go running this way, he's going to spin and shoot me out of bounds. So, pretty obvious what we're going to do. But we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it every day. We got to do it 16 times a day. We got to do it 160 times a day. It has to be in our mind that when this guy puts himself there in practice, whether you're working on it or whether you're not working on it, if Coach Hughes is running the whistle and he doesn't even mention this, that when I'm in the match, I got to know that this is what it is. This is a time waster. It's a time waster. It's an energy suck. Are we wasting time? Are we wasting energy and let him win? No. So I'm either going to just drive him out of bounds so we get a fresh start and we get back here and we don't waste the 20 seconds, or I'm going to change the angle. Right? And I can do that with short arms. I can keep my arms at my elbow, or my elbows at my ribs. I can put my shoulder on his, I kind of like this spot, the axis of his spine and shoulders, right? Because below that, I can get sucker drug and tricked out of that. if I'm putting too much weight pressure over the top of him, I get peaked out or other things, right? So this is a great place to neutralize somebody here. I can be on one knee or the other. I can be over double triceps. I can cup the chin. I don't want to lock my hands. Locking my hands feeds my arm in deep. He can grab my elbows. I'm stuck. When I want to go, I can't because he's holding on to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the angle, and maybe I'll walk him here so I can circle to where it's safe, and I can score my points, or I can shove him out of bounds and get a fresh start over here, and I'm not burning 30 seconds. 3 times. That happens 3 times in a match. Average 15, 20 seconds right there. And I'm going to do a couple jukes, and then I'm just, I'm going to look at the referee. The referee's going to look at me. Boop. Not to get into politics, but you know, there's a lot of politics in officiating. You have to know what the referee, like, I don't worry about it. I wouldn't advise telling your athletes to worry about it. But to be aware, like, hey, this referee, he's on the mat. He's trying to get the upgrade. He wants to go to Paris. Make him look good. Give him something. Move the guy. Get him out of bounds. So the next time he goes there, he can do this. He probably won't do it on the first one, unless it's just egregious, right? I shoot, you snap me down, and I just start doing this from the middle of the mat. Okay, then you're right. But they dress it up. I'm fleeing. He's chasing me, and I do a little half shot like this, and okay, out of bounds. Back to the center. Do it again. Blah, blah. I'm ahead by criteria. He's chasing me. I got room to get him, right? I can play. Oh, another little fake shot. Out of bounds. That happens 3 times, you wasted a minute. A minute? That's a freaking lot of wrestling. If you think you can win, you can put a lot of wrestling into 1 minute. So I don't know that I have the answers. And that's one of the reasons I bring it up. Because if you all think it's stupid, I'm going to get a bunch of questions afterwards. Or maybe none at all. You'll just walk out the door quietly. But I hope I get questions, because it might, like, oh, you know what? That's good. I want to change the angle. I want to change the position. Now, when I'm changing it this way, I got to watch out. I can't get sucker jawed or shoved out of bounds here. So maybe when I'm here, I'm going to change it this way, right? With my hands over top. I'm not. If he tries to drag, he's going to drag me this way. He's not going to drag me. I can beat that shoulder and get to the angle. Or if he tries to typically somebody's not going to tripod. But a tripod more in the center, if he kind of tripods up, I can take my shoulder pressure. I'm going to drive right through his heels here. And then when he doesn't like that, he's going to extend a little bit. And I can use that fraction of a second and a little bit of change. All he doesn't have to, all I have to do is feel that subtle, oop, he held his ground, boom. Holding his ground gives me that fraction of a second, right? Scoring actions, they occur in, they're not 7-second deals. That's like a long, super long one. Welch probably has a market corner on those, right? Getting those scrambles and we all aspire to winning those battles too. But the reality is most scores 2 or 3 seconds. 2 or 3. 3 is a long one. Really. Statistically, 3 is a long one. So a fraction of a second that he hesitates and I drive to this angle or to that angle, that's all I need to get there. All I need to beat is hips with my shoulder. And I'm not chasing the leg. I'm not shooting underneath from here. I'm going to keep my head up, and I keep my chest and hips low. Because if he's a real stud and he tripods, I'm going to have to run through him and run him down. And I have to be in the right position to do that. Right? He could be in terrible position, but if I'm not in position to capitalize, it doesn't matter. So when we set him, no different than on our feet. If I set him, there's my high C. Well, not really, because I'm 2 foot too tall. There's my high C. Oh. So when we set him, we set us. set us to move. Are we ready to move? Am I the puppet master? Am I the chess pro? That's thinking. Chess players think. Good ones think 2-3 moves ahead. Great ones think 4 or 5 moves. Like masters, like you know, what they literally call masters are like 12 to 15 moves ahead. That's a lot. I will never be a chess master.
I don't think I'll be good at chess.
Yeah, coach, you'll never be a chess master yet.
Yeah. So I start playing. Yeah, I haven't started. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this out. This is probably hard. But anyways, really important, because I believe our athletes are good, and obviously you guys do too. Your athletes are good. The American athletes are good. There's a lot of talent and there's a lot of intelligence around our country. And now there's technology that brings all that information. Even a short 15 years ago, when I was competing, some of these gals were competing at that time. I used to carry a Hi8 camera. Justin and I competed at the same time. I'd carry the camera with me all over Europe so I could get my matches, so I could analyze right away. I basically have every match that's wrestled on the face of the planet within minutes. Sometimes it's a little bit longer than that. I get really frustrated and impatient. But like compared to 10 years ago where it was 3 months, man, people can get good fast. People can get good fast. So this kind of stuff, it's a small thing. It's a very simple concept, but it's much more difficult in application. And it requires them to be aware and them to make priority every day. When they come to camp, I am not magic, I'm not maybe even smart, but I'm a very good copycatter. I can take what my father gave to me, what Coach Gable gave to me, what Coach Burnett gave to me, and I can figure out what doesn't work for sure. That's usually the first thing I encounter because that's what I'm trying. And then I can find out what's left and I can move that on, right? If my athletes come to training camp, I'm not doing magic. If they don't take the information home and do it at home, not happening. It is not happening. We get 80, 90 days a year out of 365, right? I get about a quarter. Maybe. That's kind of generous. So my value to all of our athletes is, can I convey accurate information? Can I give them something that they can take home and this is meaningful to them? Okay? That's why they come to camp. That's why they come. They come in, they get the information, they go home and they work it. If they work it at home, when they come back to camp, abundantly obvious who does and who doesn't. Like, I don't even have to ask. Coach Russell, never have to ask. Sit there and you can look around the room. Okay, you guys drill, go. Warm up on your own, we'll jump in, start leading, watch what's happening. He's been doing it, he's been doing it, he's been doing it. But, so this stuff, these compulsories. Others that probably won't really get to from a technical standpoint. Parterre, obviously, of course, right? International wrestling, if you don't have parterre, you're not in the game. You're not even in it. Specifically defense, although offense equally powerful. But specifically defense because we can get turned and get taken out of a match quick if we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing, right? Slip on a wet spot, I fall down, guy runs behind me, I can get back to my feet and I'm pretty potent. Our guys are pretty potent. I can go score a takedown and I'm back in the game, right? I get turned twice, I can still win, I just made it a little bit harder. So parterre, really important. It's a very nuanced position, it takes a lot of time, there's some fundamentals and basics, and then it takes time with somebody good on top of you. Somebody good on top of you. Somebody that's giving effort on top of you, not like, it's okay, I'm gonna tip of your ribs a little bit, jump down to your ankles, and then get back up 12 feet. Somebody good on top of you. I gotta move on bottom. I have to be offensive minded in the same manner that we're talking about clearing ties or going to get my bread butter offense. I gotta be that offensive from the bottom. Am I down here? I'm not taking a nap, because remember that official that's trying to get the upgrade? If he sees progress, he's gonna let it go, because he wants to see me get turned. Because then he can go like this, and he looks really good. Man, beautiful execution of those fingers. Why don't you go to the Olympics and blow the whistle? Well, if I'm down here, right, and I move, and I, like instead of, one of my coaches, Doc Bennett, he would say, a lot of coaches say fight the locks. He would say fight the handles. Fight the handles, not just lock. Guy comes over your shoulder to go deep waist, I grab this. Take it over my head, clear it off. Just bought myself 2 seconds. He does it again, I do it again. He does it again, I do it again. That same referee, he's like, oh, whoop! Back to your feet. Okay, Nick. Get back to my feet. Don't give him the opportunity to progress. Stay in motion. I don't have to crawl from me to you. I gotta be consistently moving 2 inches, 4-inch scoots. I'm gonna circle my head towards the guy and my hips away if he's on top and he's trying to, like right now, he's trying to gut me to the right. Drapes arm over. He's gonna go left arm deep and he's gonna try to gut that way. I'm gonna circle my head towards, my hips away, and I'm gonna fight this right there. And I'm gonna keep my shoulder and chest low. Right now, I'm gonna hang on to this sucker until the referee comes over and slaps my fingers. Blue, blue. I let go. He goes back to it. I go back to it. Right there. Okay. 7-8 seconds. He's not going anywhere. Get back on our feet. If I let him work on me, oh, he's got that lock, man. He's going. Static's fat and he's got soft ribs. He's probably gonna get turned. So, offensive mindedness from the bottom, being mobile. I mean, you can actually develop offense, right? There's guys that get reversals and all that kind of stuff too. But it's more of mind, state of mind, as opposed to like, I'm not going to do some high risk, stupid stuff and get scored. I'm not coming up with my chest and doing this where he's going to run his butt and hit me over for. No, I'll be here. If he gets off that side, man, I'll do a reversal on him, yeah. He's dumb. But, or if he makes a bad move, that'd be dumb. You have to be careful, right? I grew up at a different time, but yeah, so compulsory positions. Park there. What's that?
I said less smart than you.
Yeah. Persons who are academically challenged. That was me. One statistic that I want to give, at the end of the year, after the World Championships, I do a bunch of statistics. I watch every match, I catalog every score at the World Championships, and there's some very interesting trends that emerge. And most of the time, we pretty much, as coaches, you guys have been around it, you've seen it all, you pretty much know them. But occasionally you get a couple that are like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Wasn't really aware of that. Sometimes it helps you not go down rabbit holes also. Like you might see, remember 2008, in 2008 there were 3 scenarios where a whizzer seatbelt position was scored. Right? Guy ran a guy out of bounds. Scored 3 times. It happened in the tournament. But it happened in big matches, right? It happened again at 96 kilo with Muradov, who's the guy that beat Getsov. You guys know those names? Okay, so Muradov beat Getsov in 2007. They still sent Getsov. He won. He beats him again in 2008. They're like, okay, we'll let you go. He wins the Olympics in 1 year, out, retired. He scores on 3 whizzer seatbelt. Oh my goodness, whizzer seatbelts everywhere. No, it wasn't. It was in there 3 times. Just happened that they were more visible matches. And now it's good. Like if you're going to wrestle Muradov, definitely be aware of it. But I don't know that it's like earth-shaking and it's going to shift the whole culture of what we're gonna do because one guy did it, right? Now, the underpinnings of these tactics, edge of the mat. Number one score in our sport, head of the inside single. Number one leg attack, head of the inside single. Number one score off the leg attack, go behind. Right? Meaning that you gotta get such an advantage. Typically a higher opponent, I'm not gonna fight it to my death and give up exposure. I'm gonna bail. You're gonna run the go behind, clean, easy. I go part there, we get back to our feet. Right? Hasn't changed. 2-3 years ago, number one score, number one leg attack, single leg, number one finish, pushing the guy out, walking him out. Okay, now, I can't even remember in 23, but it was like, you could see the push out, or the step out, the walk out, right? Because listen, I'm smart too, right? He's got my leg up. I'm not gonna fight, unless I think I can get totally out of it, I'm not gonna fight it to give up 2. I'll let him walk me out of bounds, and I give up 1, and we get back to the center. I get a fresh start. That's smart play on my part. Whether it's we debate the philosophical value of like me being a coward or whatever. That doesn't come into my mind because this is what's actually happening. This is actually happening. So you can see it kind of ticking up over a couple of years, but then the next year it goes back to the go behind. It's just that close, right? So 2 or 3 scenarios can change it. So another very powerful statistic. If we increase, well, I kind of backed into this statistic this way. If you average 1 turn per match, which means you can get 5 of them in match 1 and score none in the other matches. If you average 1 turn per match in men's freestyle, you are almost statistically invincible. You have a 99.97 winning percentage. Crazy, right? So what does that mean? It means give some effort when you're on top. In practice, give some effort. Why don't gut wrench? Okay. That's my point. You don't gut wrench, and you could do it. Okay, so then to back into some other statistics, I started scratching my head. Well, what if we just scored 2 extra push-ups in a match? Same 2 points. Not quite the same because of criteria, the 2s and whatever, but virtually the same stuff. So any kind of thing that we do that adds 2 points to our arsenal, we become, if we can keep that average over the course of all of our bouts, whether it's a counter-offensive score, where it's another takedown, maybe we're averaging 1 takedown a match. What if we increase that average to 2? We jump up to that 99.97. Ouch. Dang, that's a real head scratcher. And when you think about it, then it starts making sense. Oh yeah, it makes sense. If I can increase the average, right? Those are powerful things, and statistically, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I try to do, is use real data-driven. Well, this is what's actually happening. This is our competition. Not meaning that them over there, us versus. This is what wrestling looks like. This is a snapshot of wrestling. If you want to be good at it, do these. Master these areas. Okay. What do we need to know? When Russia, I don't know what the numbers are now because I haven't calculated it. But up until 2016, from 72, I did some stats on that. From what is winning the world team title? What does that look like? Well, we gotta win. We gotta win, bring gold medals. We gotta win team titles. Okay, well, what does winning mean? Well, from 72 to 2016, what is that, 44 years? Russia won 39 of them. We won, if you count the Olympics as an unofficial score, they won 39 or 36. I'm gonna have to back into the math. But it's like, they won most of them. We won 4. So we won the unofficial in 84, We won 93 and 95, and I think we won unofficial in 96. Iran won 1, no, they won 2. Georgia won 1. So what is that? 4-7. They won 42. 37, right? 44, 27. That's a lot. 45. Okay, that's a lot. So that's going to be a tall task. What is winning? What does Russia winning look like? How many medals did they win? 10 weight classes for most of that time. Well, they won. 80% of the guys won medals. Ouch. 40% of the guys won gold medals. So 50, like whatever they medal, 50% of those people are gold medals. Right? That's what winning looks like. That's what winning looks like. When other countries won, they didn't hit quite that number. So it gives you a little more hope. Okay, I don't have to quite hit 80%, but pretty high. Still got to hit 70%. Still got to, I think in that same, if you average everybody else together, Iran, Georgia, us, 70% medaled, 20% gold. Pretty high marks. Pretty high marks. So that's kind of stuff that has really been helpful for us to analyze and like steer us, right? Like where are we going? Well, we're going to win gold. I mean, yeah, great, but how? What step? Okay, I'm going to take the first one. Take the next one. So, and the same with these positions, these compulsory areas. We know if we don't master these, like. It's not like, oh, you should be good there. No, you have to be good here, or you're not in the competition. You're a hot dog, right? If you can't wrestle the edge, if you can't go behind when somebody's on their knees, if you can't defend parterre and turn somebody, if you're not able to, what was something else that I didn't get to? It kind of goes in the go behind stuff, but outside step, swim, high crotch, head pass. I kind of lump those as those skills because they're kind of they're very tricky, and they're very nuanced and subtle. And it's a lot like parterre because you have to get in there and feel it. I can't rubber stamp it from some throne of power Rich Bender's desk. It's like, okay, this guy's gonna outside step, he's gonna, right? He's not even touching you. He's gonna raise his hand and you're gonna raise to meet it, boom, and he's gonna disappear. But that is becoming a very powerful skill and skill set for us to both develop and be able to shut down, counterattack, you know. So outside step, swims, which is basically an outside step, but more from contact here. Swimming, if we're, you know, trying to maul a guy and being too aggressive and out of position with it, that can be dangerous. And then this head pass stuff, which I think is a really cool thing, and I wish I could do it, I just cannot. And, you know, this kind of stuff. And that seems to come from more often, they all have a similarity in that the guy that gets scored on is usually being lax, and a lot of times is flat-footed and square, and meaning like it doesn't have to be totally square though. Like I'll see sometimes we've had a couple guys that got tricked with this stuff, and what was happening is I call it the hunter. When they're the hunter, they're going here, boom, 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 popping and weaving, and like they might not be scoring every single action, but the rest of the world has very little to offer. We are low vulnerability in that moment for us, if we're the proactive guy. But when we take that little break, that little idle moment, we're bobbing, weaving, I'm doing all this stuff, and then I go here, that's what happens. That's what happens. I'm not moving, I'm almost square, it rose up a little bit, doesn't have to be much. Again, fraction of a second. And if he's mastering that, that's something to be aware of. So I kind of group those three together because they all kind of happen at the same moment. When I stop and I do this, swim. When I stop and my feet don't move, outside step. Outside step is such an efficient movement. not taught often enough in the United States. We're all, we gotta find the hardest thing, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it the hardest way. Man, we're tough. And getting under somebody is hard. Sweep single is an outside step, but my head's underneath, my body's underneath. Inside step is hard. Outside step, I can level change, beat his head and shoulders, and get my hips, beat his hips like wickedly fast, even if I'm slow. So this is something we can increase.
Along that line, it seems like more scoring's coming from not hitting the knee.
Yeah.
I think like with youth in high school, we should be teaching more of the outside steps and not going to a knee. 'Cause first thing I learned in youth was knee over toe.
I won't debate whether, I think the knee's okay. I don't like staying on my knees, and I'd go back to things I said earlier, just trying to keep vertical orientation. If I gotta touch my knee to keep vertical, that's better than doing this, reaching and diving foot leg. Right? Again, it goes back to the change of perspective. Am I chasing his leg or am I chasing the points? I don't wanna get to his doggone leg, I wanna touch it and move around it. I wanna hit and slide through position or continue to move here, here. Okay, good job. Now it's good job. I got my points. So, touching the knee if you must, it's okay. I mean, Nate Carr, right? Don't gotta hit a knee, but not everybody has what Nate Carr has. So, I'm getting the flag. I got like 2 minutes. So, I'm happy to cover anything.
Quick question.
Yeah.
You have stats on the senior level,
Yeah.
right? Are we breaking it down for juniors and cadets?
I haven't yet. I haven't, but we
Within
should
the
be.
states and then versus.
I haven't, but we should be. That's a great question. What I will tell you is, having been the developmental coach, and in those years, the 4 years that I was the developmental coach, I went to all world championships. I went to the, there's like a 10-year gap where they didn't have cadets or U17s. And my first year as a developmental coach was the year they brought it back. So I think it terminated in 99, and then there was a gap until 2011. So I go to the cadet worlds, I went to the junior worlds, and I went to the senior worlds. And let's see, 11, yeah, and then in 12 they had the university worlds, which has become the U23s. It's a little different, but young coach. I was 35, but I coached a little bit in college just for a couple years, but my assumption is like, I'll see the difference in skill levels. 0. Like, so little, I would say it's statistically unimportant. The kids, these kids have U15s and U17s, they're freaking good. And we've seen that, Jax Forrest and Bo Bassett and Mirasolas and Cam McDaniel. These kids at this last chance just a week ago. Larkin, right? Caleb Larkin goes and wins a Bill Farrell. These kids, and it goes back to the talent and the intelligence and information. They have it. That's my theory, right? I think that's why. I would think it's a big piece of it. So I would guess though that statistically speaking, there's not huge anomalies. I would bet that technically, tactically, because our system is somewhat different than the rest of the world, right? We have a decentralized model. You guys are all coaches at your programs, your clubs, your schools, or whatever. And in Europe, most of the resources, it's government funded. So as a kid identifies himself at your local club, he's like, hey, we want to get over to this academy. And it's good for you because you go with it. Right? So there's incentive is to centralize everything. And so information becomes consistent. And so what's happening at the top is happening at that level too. And you wrestle a little bit on senior level, right? With Europe a few times. So you kind of see that when you go over there, right? And Justin's seen it, and these gals have seen it in their own careers. You go over there and you go to one of these academies and there's a bunch of great senior guys. And then when the senior practice gets done, 60 little kids come in. High school kids or junior high kids. And then the littlest ones, they're in there a little bit, but it's all gaming and, Mike's doing a great job with Coach's Ed on promoting that kind of stuff. And so yeah, statistically, I would guess it's very similar.
So, Coach, I'm curious, you're getting these amazing athletes from amazing programs, right? You have this compulsory positions.
Yeah.
Are you letting them be their authentic selves in those positions? Or are you truly like breaking habits and re-coaching them and reprogramming them?
Great question. So this would go, I'll just rely on Coach Gable, and something that I started saying this, and I don't think that's a statement, is Coach Gable would say, well, I kind of went down a different rabbit hole with a story about a guy. I didn't use his name, Jake Lerner. Yeah. So Jake's the one that said he was a single A guy, and he shot 23 of them. And he said he wasn't a double A guy, and he shot 5 or 8 or whatever it was, and scored all of them. No. So what Coach Gable had kind of turned my idea on, because I'm like a real blinders guy, right? Like this is what I do. I'm going to do this. If it doesn't work, I'm going to do it harder. If it doesn't work, I'm going to do it harder. And it's like Coach Gable talked about, what is it, what are you getting from it, and what is it taking from you? Okay, well, that story was about that specifically. Well, it's costing me a bunch of energy and time. And you know, when it starts costing us points, and specifically when it costs us matches, that's pretty obvious. Typically that hurts pretty bad, and we change pretty quick. And then I lost the match, and I figure that out. Or if I lost some points, I'm like, oh man, that kid took me down, that's bull crap. And then I figure that one out. Usually pretty quick if I care about what I'm doing. But it's the other one that can be as detrimental that we don't analyze as quickly. Is it costing us time, and is it costing us energy? As one of the other statistics that is remarkably powerful is who spends the least amount of time on the mat. Usually the gold medalists average the least amount of time per match on a mat. Now, Sagilayev, 1 year, 3 years ago, he won the gold with a combined total of like just under 7 minutes on the mat. 5 matches in 7 minutes. So yeah, he's good. Of course, that means he's good technically, but he's got tons of energy, right? He's not wasting a bunch of energy. He's not wasting a bunch of energy, and so that I would say that is one of the things that I try to analyze, because we're uber competitive, and guys are like, they want to do what they want to do, and if they like it, it's like, well, I want to squeeze him, I want to hurt him, I want to throw him down, I want to double him. Well, okay, but you tried 19 of those, and you scored 2. You tried 4 of these, and you scored all of them. Maybe we should invest in this a little bit and figure that out. Maybe we don't know everything about that, but let's figure it out. So that's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. I try to not do the data and the statistics, or because I had great coaches that did the same thing, and they didn't do anything. I never felt like, I saw it happen in places and at times where people did things out of tradition. Well, we're gonna rub this mountain till we puke because I ran up that mountain until I puked. Okay, nothing wrong with that, but why? What do we expect to gain from running up this mountain until we puke? And maybe it is just perseverance. Okay, this kid's Zadok's a little soft. Let's toughen him up. Let's let him know that he can actually run up a mountain until he pukes and live. Okay, maybe that's why. And if there's an objective, that's what the stats are about. What is the objective? Well, we're doing this because I expect after doing this, this is what will happen. Okay, good. If it happens, great. We're gonna do it some more. If it doesn't happen, figure out why it didn't work, why it's not happening, what do we need to do to make it happen? And yeah, I like wrestling, and I like these guys. I care about them a lot, and I know we've all worked really hard, and I don't ever want to feel like I'm doing it right now, talking too much, but I don't want to squander their effort. Man, this is the worst tournament in the world because I've worked with all these guys, however many of them, 10 guys in a weight, 60 guys in the competition, I mean a little more than that, a little less than that. but I've worked with every single one of them. I've seen all their commitment, all their hard work, all their families, their wives, their coaches, their partners. And 6 of them are gonna feel pretty good. 4 are gonna feel really good. 2 are just gonna be like, okay, thanks, I got something else to do. And they're gonna get focused on 3 weeks from now. But it's hard to see really good people that give a lot of effort and not get what they want. And so when we do become successful, all the more reason to celebrate that. But that's, I guess, when I'm doing good, that's what I'm doing. When I'm doing bad, it's because I'm just doing me. That's the book. Anyways, thanks, Coach. Anything else? I got some cards. If anybody wants my contact, my email is bzadik@usawrestling.org. Want a little bit of transition. I had Zach Esposito as National Developmental Coach. He took a new job at NC State. We'll be opening that position soon, posting. We're looking for talented people that have a love for the sport and care about people. Very people and process oriented. And but if there's anything we can do to help y'all in your clubs and what's going on at the grassroots level, please let me know if we can be an asset or a resource to you. Can't thank you enough or impress the value that I believe that what you're doing has on our program. Because like I said at the beginning, I was some little hayseed kid from Montana, and I'm still that kid. And every one of these guys that's going to compete this weekend, they were that person at one point too. And so it's very important that we engage and bring all the intelligence and all the talent to bear to make us better. So anyways, thanks, Coach.